get yourself something nice to drink, make yourself comfy and cozy, and get ready for Papa Bird Tales. Hello and welcome, people of YouTube, in the second episode of Papa Bird Tales. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody that subscribed to my channel. I did not expect how positively you would react to my first video. It really means a lot. All these views and all those likes. Well, I didn't expect that. I thought that, you know, maybe 20 people will watch it and 5 of them will like it, but I've never anticipated anything like that. So I am really grateful to everybody who made me feel good about myself and what I did. So yeah, this was supposed to be a Mad Max 2015 game video, but because so many of you expressed your interest in the comments about what I think about the Witcher games, then I've decided to, you know, change my plans and go along with your request. Vox Populi, I guess. So yeah, I've decided to talk about the Witcher games. In this video, I'll talk about the first one exclusively, but I will make a follow-up videos about the Witcher sequels. So this video, pretty much as the previous one, is going to be freestyled. I don't have a script. I'll have a notes. These notes are in no particular order. They are in order of how ideas, you know, came to my mind, and that's pretty much it. I've decided to make a list. It's easier for me to talk about things that are listed for some reason. So I've made a list of things that I didn't like about the Witcher game and the things that I liked about the first Witcher game. And like I said, these are not in any particular order. I'll be just, you know, giving you my thoughts. Again, a little backstory. The Witcher game, the first one, came out in 2007. To be precise, that was 26th of October 2007. I was 18 back then, and I was anticipating the game very much. I've heard about it. It has been in development for quite some time. And I remember in my early teens, I've seen a material on TV made about the Witcher game. There was this awesome TV channel on Polish television. It was called Hyper. That was basically, you know, gaming and video games focused TV channel. And they've made a material about then upcoming Witcher game. And I remember seeing that material, and although I loved it, I loved the fact that my favorite, you know, books are going to be playable. I've also had some problems with it because the main character was intended to be not Geralt. They've introduced their own Witcher basically into the story because they thought that, well, Geralt is who knows what. He's dead, he's in the Shadow Realms, we don't know, but he's unavailable basically in the Witcher world. So what can we do? CD Projekt came up with an idea of introducing a totally new homebrewed Witcher. I like the design of the character. I vaguely remember him to be a redhead with a mohawk, I think. And yeah, they showed some gameplay where he was running around riverbank and he was slaughtering drowners. All the good stuff, you know. He was using art sign to smash some barrels, and it all looked very cool. I was super anxious to play the game, but at the same time, I couldn't get over the fact that Geralt won't be a playable character. I thought to myself that if I'm going to be playing the Witcher game, I want to play as a Geralt. That's the only Witcher I'm interested in. So then CD Projekt released now legendary Witcher 1 intro with Geralt fighting Striga. You know, I basically sighed with relief because I'll be playing as Geralt, so thank the gods. And then the game came out and I realized that my PC is not good enough to run the game. So, and I had no money my parents basically told me that there is no way they'll be expanding on the PC that we have just so I can play the Witcher game. So I was a little bit disappointed. I said, well, I'll play it one day. There's no rush. I was anxious to do it, but I've also thought to myself that one day I'll play it. And so that one day came 5 years later in 2012, where I finally could afford a PC that would run the game. And I bought a copy in UK, and here it is. Check this out. That's a game that came out in 2007. And I think this should be a golden standard on how games are being published and distributed to the players. A nice box with a cool graphic. It's very minimalistic, but it conveys the point that it should. And now check out the price, like £5. That's crazy. I bought it in London in a Blockbuster, obviously on sale. Yeah, and let's have a look inside. What we have here is a box with game. Nothing special, but still pretty nice. And this is what I've spent a lot of time with when I had no PC to run The Witcher on. The manuals and the game guide. This is insane. This is like old school in its purest form. Like back in the day, games were published with this sort of booklets, the manuals and game guides. And then you have all sort of useful information, beautiful maps that you can, spend a lot of time looking at and pondering. Yeah, it's just really cool. It's both, a bit of trivia, a help book, and also a cool thing, to look at. I bought the game like a maniac because I just, I needed to have it, but I had no machine to play it on. So I just spent a lot of time looking at these, imagining that I am in fact playing The Witcher. And now I can't get them back into the box because I wanted to do it all in one, and it's tricky, but there we go. That's it. The Witcher Enhanced Edition, Platinum Edition. I don't know, there are a bunch of editions available. So yeah, like I've said earlier, I wanted to divide this video into dislike and liked section. So I start with the things that I didn't like, because there are far less of those. And also I don't enjoy being negative about things. I'd rather praise something than prey on it. So here we go. Like I said in the introduction, these are not in any particular order. So the first thing I did not like, but also did like, and I'll come back to that later, is the intro section. In my opinion, it is drawn out, boring, poorly acted, and you don't get much of the freedom in it. You have to move from point A to point B in a way that game developers intended to it, and it's not a particularly interesting journey, in my opinion. Also, Kaer Morhen got much better in Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Here, somehow it feels, tiny, cramped, and uninspired. It's just there, nothing special. And also, despite a lot of things going on in that intro, it's not really conveyed in an interesting way. You just, sit there, listen to the horrendous dialogue, spoken by actors who probably had some tough day in the office or something, because they really feel like they just read the notes that they've made. They don't feel like they're acting. The game gets interesting when you get to the second location, the outskirts of Vizima. Yeah, because there you actually get the freedom of choice, freedom of running around. You can freely explore the area. It's not a big area, but it's still interesting one in my opinion. But Kaer Morhen, it's just weird. I can't really put it into words. There is something lacking there. It feels uninspired. It feels like it has been, just, okay, here's our intro. Trust us, the game gets much better as we move forward. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's how it was. I don't know. And also, but that goes for the entirety of the game. The cinematics are so junky and so stiff. Like the animations, they are just bad. But that's I guess a testament of time. And also, that was the first CD Projekt Red's game that they've made themselves, so it can be forgiven. But yeah, the animations are something else. The next thing, or rather a character that I didn't like in the game, that's Alvin, the little boy. Oh my god, Alvin feels, and I think he actually is, a discounted Ciri. He has basically the same powers as she. He spills the same prophecies as Ciri. But with him, they feel so uninspired and so forceful. Like, sometimes I think he's quoting Ciri's prophecies. And the child actor, oh Jesus. I don't want to speak ill of the guy who voiced him in the Polish version. But man, you could, while listening to this boy, you can clearly tell that this kid did not understand the source material that he got to work with. He was just, reading his lines when Alvin was normal, and when he was given his prophecies, shit, the kid could not convey the gravitas of these prophecies. He was doing this voice of a child that tries to act as an adult, all serious and moody and grumpy and grizzled like. But it doesn't work here. It's just comical, bad and annoying. But in my opinion, that goes for the entirety of Alvin's character. He's annoying. And this boy's story is more complex and more twisted than David Lynch movie. It's so weird, so strange. For a character that turns out to be so important for the whole story, he disappears in the middle of the game, actually never to be seen again, at least not in his Alvin form. He's just gone all of a sudden because he got freaked out. All right, and I guess we won't mention him again. But let me tell you this, the plot twist with him being Jacques de Aldeburgh was quite neat. I actually enjoyed it, and I was really shocked when I found out. It's like, holy shit, this is good. This is the little boy. Nice. The main villain of the game. Somehow he traveled back in time with his memories of Geralt. And I don't know, but it felt nice. It felt interesting, at least. I did not expect that. And surprises like that are welcomed, in my opinion. Moving on. Triss. What I think they did with Triss was they dressed Yennefer in a different skin. And let me explain. I think that Dave intended to use Yennefer and Geralt, but they had no idea how to play Return from the Shadow Realm card twice. They did it with Geralt, and they thought that if we would do it again with another important character, that would be too much. We can't do it. People will not buy it. So, but they needed a snarky, selfish, cold, sarcastic sorceress. And so they gave all those qualities to Triss. And that's how we ended up with her being like she is in the game. She's Yennefer with red hair. Let me tell you, she came across as super selfish and narcissistic and cruel in the game. She knew that Geralt loved Yennefer and that he has amnesia, that he can't basically, tell who he is. And so she thought that the best course of action was, well, I had a crush on him once, so now that's a perfect opportunity to, fulfill that fantasy. I'm gonna make him my boy. And that's what she did. I mean, yeah, there were times in this game and in the second one when she was like, okay, Geralt, I'll help you out, you know, we will regain your memories and you'll find out. But she could have fucking told him right there and there. Like, she knew who Yennefer was. She knew Geralt from the previous life. And the Triss in the first Witcher game she's creepy, I would say. That's the best way I can describe her. She's creepy. And she was so fucking annoying that the moment the game presented me with a choice to give Alvin's custody over to Triss or to Shani, I've immediately thought that he's annoying as well, so I should probably give it to Triss. But then again, that means I will choose her as Geralt's companion, so I can't do it. You know, I have to choose Shani. That's the only way. And the last thing, her appearance is all wrong in the games, in all of them. First of all, in the books, she was not a redhead. She had auburn hair. And in the games, she is a foxy redhead. And that is Litanade Coral, not Triss. And also her cleavage. Her cleavage, although as a teenage boy I could appreciate that, her cleavage is inaccurate. Because when she fought in the Battle of Sodden, she suffered massive burn scars to her chest area, and that never healed, and so she never wore a cleavage. I'm sorry. Next thing is the combat. Combat is clunky in this game. It looks decent enough with the mocap. The Geralt has some flashy moves. He's, you know, twisting and turning and doing weird and unpractical things with his sword, but that's it. You just basically click your mouse button over and over again in the rhythm. Whoever thought that it's an interesting way to portray a combat in your game he had no idea how to do it, probably, I guess. Also, the fact that you couldn't drink potions during the combat was a wrong choice. It built the tension for sure, and it was probably intended as being immersive and realistic, but it was annoying because there were instances in the game that you had no idea the combat is approaching and you had no time or opportunity to prepare for those combat instances. And that was bad, in my opinion. But I did like the 3 stances that Geralt could take, the fast, strong, and the group style. These were nice. It made sense using them. Speaking of combat, the hardest fucking boss in the entire story of the Witcher trilogy is the Beast boss battle. The first boss that you fight in the game. I have no idea who made that boss fight and why they made it the way it occurred in the game, but it was ridiculously hard. When I first encountered this boss battle, I thought to myself, is this famous learning curve, get good thing? What is this? Why is it in the game? Why is it so hard? That's a fucking dog. Why can't I just defeat it? The beast stuns you every 5 seconds and you can't do shit, and you just watch your life circle being drained and then you die. And the witch, if you decide to save the witch, she's not doing you any favors. She either dies herself pretty quickly or is knocked unconscious, I don't know. But the beast boss battle is ridiculous. It made me... If I wouldn't be such a Witcher fan, I would quit the game right there and then. Because it made no sense. It was too difficult. My second to last nitpick about the game is the villains. Not the villains themselves, but so many times they escape in the last moment, or they have Geralt almost at the mercy and they say, leave him, he's learned his lesson, there is nothing that he can do to us now, he's defeated. Guys, he found you fucking twice already, just kill him, you know, you have the upper hand, do it now because you'll regret it. But no, they are the cartoony villains and they will either escape in the last moment or they will leave you, you know, so you can heal up and find him again and then kill him. It felt like a He-Man cartoon, really weird, but also funny and cute at the same time. And last thing, the backtracks. It's pretty common in many games that the backtracks occurs, but in this particular one, holy shit. I don't remember the last time I've been to so few locations, so many times, at so many different occasions. You go to the swamps, there is a guy who wants something from Vizima, you go to Vizima and you get the shit for the guy from the swamps, but he says, I need one more thing from the Vizima market, so if you would be so kind, and you go there, and in the Vizima the guy tells you, well, you know, on the swamps there is another fine location, and they may have something that will interest you, so why not go back to the swamps? And you just go back and forth over and over and over again, and it's annoying. And with that, end of the nitpicks. I think that's all the negatives I have about the game. Basically, I liked everything else, wasn't annoyed by anything more. So let's get to the positive stuff. So here we go, the intro section. So despite the fact that I did not like the intro section, I also liked it because I saw Geralt for the first time in forever. I couldn't help but fanboy, and especially because I really like his design in that game. He has this sort of feline facial features. Well, when he emerged from the fog and was like wounded, and the voices, you know, coming from a distance, it was all creepy and mysterious, and I was like, shit, this is Geralt, guys, look. Yeah, I really liked it. And man, you know, we got to see Kaer Morhen. I was sort of disappointed by it, but that's Kaer Morhen, man, and all the witches are there. Also, despite the fact that I've said about the villains that they felt cartoony, I really liked the way they were introduced. You know, Azar Javed being this, you know, creepy looking, almost pirate-like mage from Zerikania, and Triss being like, holy shit, I think he's a renegade mage. That made things serious from the start. Triss was uncertain and unsettled by his appearance, so yeah, that made me feel like I should be unsettled by the guy. And the professor, although he's a blatant ripoff of the professor from the books, called Ralph Blunden, I did not mind him at all. He was fine. He spoke in a very posh, academic way, and that made his character interesting to me. And also what I liked about the intro section was the fact that you were presented with hard choices from almost very beginning. You had to choose whether go with Leo and try to save the ingredients and formula for the Witcher potions, or try to stab Savola and his Frighteners. Every time I went with Leo, because I felt that this Witcher secrets are fucking way more important than a bug. Although, speaking of hard consequences, when Leo died, I felt nothing each time. Each time he died, I was like, yep, he died. We knew him way too short to care. At least that goes for me. I knew him way too short to care about his death. And I don't know why Geralt was so upset. I guess they needed some motivation for him, but yeah, it was a pretty weak one. Geralt is another thing or a person that I really loved in that game. He, despite being amnesiac, he feels like the Geralt from the books. I believe that they've done him justice in that game. He had Geralt's sense of humor, but also his sensibilities and his frustrations. He was really well done. I also really liked his character design and the way his gear was designed. Everything that he had on him, despite not being very customizable, the gear was really good in my opinion. You could see the potions on your shoulder in the small pouches. You had a bag, and you know, both swords were on your back. You could put a dagger on your hip. It was really nice. I think once I came across the quote from one of the producers of the game, where he said that they wanted to convey the idea of Geralt being like a special force guy that is wearing most important stuff from his inventory on him at all times, and I think that they've done a really good job with that. And what I love about Geralt the most is the voice actor. The Polish voice actor, Jacek Rozenek. From the moment I've heard him, he became the voice of Geralt of Rivia in my mind. He is phenomenal in this role. He was born to voice Geralt. But I'll get to that in a moment, because I have a point about voice actors in general. Just so you know, I really enjoyed Polish dubbing of The Witcher. The music composed by Adam Skorupa and Paweł Błaszczak. These guys has done something incredible with the Witcher soundtrack. It made me feel melancholic from the moment I've heard the first tunes. I have two favorite in particular, and both are quite quaint and wholesome. And these are Murky Waters Village and Vizima Trader Quarter. I'm not sure about the second title, but it was playing in the Traders Quarter during the day. Really peaceful and nice. Yeah, I love the first Witcher soundtrack very much. I listen to it often when I'm working or I'm writing something. I do come back to that soundtrack and I really enjoy it. And also there is one song, I don't remember the title right now. It's recorded by one of my favorite Polish folk bands, that's Beltane. Go check out the band Beltane, they are really good. Now about the voice actors that I've mentioned before. The voice acting in this game is phenomenal for the most part. There are some clunky dialogues and some actors, you could tell that they probably had no passion for the project and they were just doing their job, and sometimes they came across as they were not doing a very good job, but it all got better as the time went by. But the most important thing is that Geralt of Rivia was done justice with Polish dubbing. I've tried the game with English dubbing and I didn't like that much. I know that Doug Cackle is being widely praised for his role as Geralt, but I feel like he does not have the emotional range that Rozenek has. Doug has a very nice rasp to his voice. He sounds like a Dirty Harry at times, and his voice in general is very guttural and has a nice quality, but there is no depth to it. He's sort of one note for me. But the Polish one, Jacek Rozenek, is phenomenal. When he needs to be scary, he is scary. When he needs to be sad, he is sad. He has the emotional range that Geralt has, and he portrays him to perfection. The best Geralt of Rivia ever. I really liked the world in general and the locations. There were few of those, but they were very well done in my opinion. And never mind the backtracks that I complained about a few minutes ago. The world felt somber, I think it's the word. It's quite depressing. It rains a lot. The streets of Vizima are filthy, disgusting. There's a lot of beggars. The plague is roaming the land. The swamps are fucking awful, although they are my favorite location in the whole game, along with the fields where there is this wedding thing going on. Mostly all of the locations, they left some lasting impression in my mind, and I really, really, really like it. And the fact that NPCs, they were reacting to different weather, to the violence, monsters appearing on the streets, or bad guys fighting you. They were making some snappy comments about you when you passed. It was all well made. Now be careful, because I really liked the collectibles in the game. And we all know what I'm talking about. The sexy lady guards. I know that they are sexist, probably, because there is no naked dudes. And that's a crime against humanity that we didn't get to see sexy Geralt, Zoltan, or at least Dandelion. I thought that it was a neat idea, and I have a theory where it came from. Geralt in the books was a horny witcher. He liked the company of ladies, and ladies liked the company of him. And I think the game developers used that in an interesting way by making you pay close attention in the dialogue with the first sex and search for clues. And these clues were whether you can have sex with that NPC or not. And I was actually, on the alert every time I spoke with a female NPC, looking for signs, because I really wanted a card. I liked them. And some of them were small pieces of art. They were very well done, in aesthetically pleasing, and the composition was nice. Although the village witch card was disgusting in my opinion, and it still haunts my dreams sometimes, so nah. I really liked Salamandra and the Stolen Mutagens plot. Salamandra gave me the vibe of Latin America cartel. They were vicious, brutal, quite scary. They were kidnapping children. And the stolen mutagens was really interesting. Like, you know, to ponder the thought of such dangerous substance leaking out to the black market. That's really bad, you know, when you think about it. In the game, we could obviously see the results of the failed experiments. We've got some mutants, some disgusting, disfigured, poor people, tormented beyond humanity. And, you know, killing those the poor souls felt like a mercy kill every time. It was really scary. Like, Salamandra is one of my top 10 crime organizations in the fiction ever. I really liked them. They had some cool generals, you know, Asa Javed, the Professor, Savola, you know, all of these characters. They were interesting. The fact that the Grand Master of the Flaming Bros Order was the head of the operations all along, controlling the Salamandra from the shadows. Whew! That's you know, that's really good. It feels like a Netflix's Narcos, but in a fantasy world almost. Well done, CD Projekt Red. I also really like the general vibe of the game. It feels like Journey Back Home, but when the home is not entirely a happy place. The world is sad, depressing, people are tired, dirty, disillusioned. For me as a Polish person, it feels a bit too real because we Poles are quite closed people. We have this grim facade with a heart of gold underneath, but you have to dig very deep in order to get to it. And that sort of feeling came from the game very, very vividly to me. I really liked Vincent Mice. He's a really cool character. He is morally ambiguous, greyish sort of superhero. He has a lycanthropy, and that is a sort of a superpower, and he's using that to do good in a very bad way. He's like Dexter almost. But I really liked him, and I've spared him every time I played the game because I thought that is what Geralt would do. And I tend to play Witcher games not as me myself, but role-playing all the way as Geralt of Rivia, just so you know. Graphics, I think even though the game is 14 years old, I still think they hold up, especially the weather effects. They are very well done. The fact that the game actually lets you be neutral is mind-blowing. No other Witcher game did it. But yeah, this one actually lets you be neutral. You can choose to join Squirtle, don't do that. You can choose to join the Order, don't do it either. And you can choose to be neutral. The famous Witcher's neutrality that never works. But you have the option. And all of these choices, as it goes in the Witcher world, are wrong. And as a sort of conclusion, I wanted to say that, as far as I'm concerned, this game and all the other games are worthy sequels of the books, and in fact I consider them to be canon. These games represent what the books were about in a fantastic way. They are superbly written, the stories are compelling, the characters are well thought out, mostly staying true to the books' counterparts. Really well done, really nice. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, when the books end, the games begin, and that is the journey of Geralt of Rivia. So what I tend to do now is go through the books, finish them, and then pick up the games and continue the journey of my favorite character. Okay, I think I've said everything I wanted to say about The Witcher 1. I hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think about The Witcher 1, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Let's keep it healthy. Next video is going to be most likely about The Witcher 2, unless I will come up with some really interesting points about the Mad Max, because I want to make that video. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to hug a loved one, and I'll see you next time. Bye!